Good morning, Flosstube. My name is Laura, and I'd like to welcome you to Stitching by the Shore, my channel all about cross stitch with a little bit of paper crafting thrown in too. If you are new, I'd like to say welcome. Thank you so much for pressing play and giving my channel a try. I hope you like what you see. Maybe tell me what you're stitching. I'd love to know what you like to stitch, and we can all just chat stitching stuff. And if you're a returning stitching friend, thank you so much for being here. I so appreciate you taking the time to come and watch my video whenever you get a chance. There's so much great video content out there that I always feel extra grateful if you've chosen to watch me. And speaking of that, I will try to get myself moving. We have one full finish, a stitched finish, and a new start to talk about. But I imagine people have wrapped up their Flossmas videos. I don't know if anybody does all the way through December. I've only done 4, and I basically did one extra a week. And so my last Flossmas video came out this past week. And for this one, I went through my way too many unstitched charts, and I tried to pick just some of my, I don't even want to say favorites, that's the wrong word, patterns that intrigued me, or I knew others were stitching and they kind of enabled me, or just kind of things that I wanted to kind of get some X's in next year. And I think I don't know if I was thinking between 30 and 35. I'm not sure what the number was. That could easily change next year. I don't think it'd be less, more likely to be more, just to kind of get all this stuff started, because I realized as I went through, I do have a lot of patterns. And of course, designers, being as brilliant as they are, keep coming out with great stuff. So it's not like I'm not going to buy and or start things this year. So we'll just see what happens. But thank you so much if you did take the time to watch. I really do appreciate it. Speaking of floss tubes, I am so excited. So my friend Amy, who I've talked about different times, has decided to start a floss tube, and she put out her very first video this week. I am so excited for her. I love Amy's stitches, and I love talking with Amy. So maybe you'd like to try her out as well. Her floss tube is called Renewing Stitches, and I will link Amy down below. So if you look in the description box where I say floss tubers mentioned, I will have Amy in that section right there. And Amy does all sorts of different things. She's stitching Summer Quaker with me and Beth and all those everybody else who's stitching it. She has charts that are recent, and then she talks about how she is starting to look at and bring back some patterns and charts that are, we'll call them vintage, right? I mean, I guess that's what I'd call myself, is vintage at this point when you get to a certain age in history, right? But it's so much fun because her plans between what is new and what is old and how it's all going to mix, I really enjoyed watching her very first video, and I think she plans on, at this point, we'll see, putting them out weekly. So Renewing Stitches. Amy, I'm so glad you've joined Flosstube. Alrighty, projects. Let's start with my full finish first, because I kind of had to get this one fully finished. I had said I had put away all of my finishing supplies for the year, because at this point, you know, I mean, I've already got a big enough mess trying to do my Flossmasses and getting ready for a whip parade and all that other stuff. But this was a present for Connor for Christmas. So Christmas Eve, yes, instead of wrapping presents, I was fully finishing an ornament. And if you've watched me stitch this, and there it is right there. So this came from a larger pattern. I believe it used to be Happy Mood Point, and now it's called Daily Pattern Post. And so there were a large number of plants in the pattern itself. And this plant actually was sitting on kind of like I'd call like a metal stand of some sort. So I decided to take that out so that I could stitch the plant just as is, like this. And I used 20 count white aida, and I did 1 strand over 1. And I actually have to say, I enjoyed stitching that, to be honest with you. Would I give up my 18 count? Well, I can't, because I have more fabric than that. I don't even know what the analogy would be, but I have more fabric in 18 count then that means I can't give up 18 count. But I think it was kind of fun doing 20, and I could see doing some 20s. I've seen people talk about 22. No, I'm not going really small because I don't have the best eyes, and I want to keep my eyesight as best as possible for as long as possible. So, but yeah, I enjoyed it. And this one here, simple, easy finish, you know, put it over the comic book board. And then I was originally looking at fabrics that were background fabrics that were these colors, but I didn't like how it framed the plant. So I ended up using a nice green that I had, kind of a really skinny piece, but it worked. And then on the back, I just did a simple felt and the hanger. And the hanger, I kind of tried to match the greens with some of the greens in the plant. And there we go. If you don't know, we call Connor our plant whisperer. Our Oscar, we call him Oscar. Our Meyer lemon tree plant was going a little nuts, and we got a stern talking to from Connor about how we're supposed to be taking care of it. So if anybody knows plants, it's Connor in our house. So I thought that would be appropriate. Megan was not here for Christmas, which meant I was able to procrastinate, and I do not have her ornament finished. I have to get going on that this week. All right, so let me get going. And I went and I decided to do the stitched finish next. Why not just completely do everything together? This is For a Friend from Liz Matthews, is what it originally looks like. And mine looks much, much different. I took out that outer edge border, and it's just the nice simple black border. This is not stitched here. It's stitched separately, you'll see. And when I finish it in the scrapbook, I do plan on finishing it like this, but it's going to be a double layer piece. I did make a mistake in the counting here, so I had to take out those 2 little leaves at the bottom. I think it looks fine. Anybody flipping through and looking at this pattern is never going to know that those weren't there. So let me show you the main section first, and then I'll show you the little piece. So that's the main part. See, you can see where I've stitched that little piece. This is 18 count Friendship Green by Fabrics by Stephanie. And if we come close, that's what it looks like. And as you can see, just the simple, I liked the little black border that she did with that. And you know me, as I keep doing patterns and showing you, I am a simple girl and I like simple things. So I very often do take things out of patterns, but oh, that green looks really nice on the camera today. So that's what that looks like. And then which way is the correct way? That's what that little piece looks like. So I will cut that really tight. You know, I'll put my interfacing, thank you, behind, and then I will cut it really tight, and then I will put it, I haven't decided what kind of dimension, but I will put it with some dimension here. And then what I haven't decided yet is if I will cut this tight. I might, you know, and not, I haven't, what I'll do is I'll cut this first. I'll cut this side and this side tight, but how tight I want this border and this border, well, this is over it. If I want it up to the edge and this really truly hangs over, that'll be a decision at the finishing table. As I said, I'm not doing any finishing the rest of this year. I am going to put it all away, or it actually is pretty much all away. And I am concentrating on just prepping for 2024. So I was excited to get that one done. It wasn't necessarily slated for a finish this year in my mind, but then I realized how close I was. And so I said, this week I am stitching it till it's finished. And so I did. All right, next. This one I started just recently, and it's Blue Rhapsody from Rosewood Manor. And I started this to celebrate Beth, the Steadfast Stitcher's birthday. So she has a hashtag. It is hashtag Rosewood Manor Sal, S-A-L, and pretty much just find a Rosewood Manor and stitch on it, because that's what Beth started too for her 60th birthday. And let me fold this over because you don't need to see the full piece of, whoops, fabric. I can hear the garbage trucks out there. If they come over here, they may end up being a little noisy, but Such is life, right? Normally we don't have Friday garbage, but because of the holiday, they are a day late. I'm even going to do this to make it closer for a minute. Well, actually do this first so you can see. Isn't that beautiful? This is 18 count Darling David from Those Missing Stitches. It is just a gorgeous, gorgeous color. And then if I come up here, that's what I have so far. And so this week, what did I add? So I had this section and here, plus the 2 letters in that way. This time I decided to come down here with this section and then add some more letters that way. And I picked my own, let me see if I can see. It's charted in Weeks Dye Works, and I picked my own DMCs. The lighter color is 931 and the darker is 336. Oh, they're right in front of me here, the skeins, instead of looking at the piece of paper. Oh, well. And I love it. I'm really enjoying it. And I enjoy taking this out each week. So I think it's going to be a lot of fun to stitch. This is my very first Rosewood Manor. And I can truly say it's not going to be my last. I really do. I do like that. Okay, next. This one is my new start. I pretty much tried to keep everything, finishes, starts near the beginning, and then, ooh, I cropped this really tightly, but where you're seeing the top is the actual top. So my new start for Christmas Day, I started Christmas Band Sampler, and this is a design by Lost in Stitches. If you watch Lisa from Lost in Stitches, it's the same one. And she has started designing some fabulous patterns. Okay, let's do it that way. There we go. Now we don't see the reflection of the window. And this one, oops, if I angle it too much, we do. So that finishes up there. I obviously wasn't paying attention when I cropped my picture very well. But that's what it looks like. I don't have a huge start. I usually start in the upper left corner, unless it's something that doesn't have specific corners. And then a lot of times I'll start at the top in the middle. Every once in a while, you know, other things throw you for a loop. So like I said, I don't have much. I probably did about 300 stitches. This is 18 count Friendship Green by Fabrics by Stephanie. Looks a little bit different than the Friendship Green you saw earlier with For a Friend, but you know, each piece is slightly different, right? They're unique. And I am using the called fors. So I believe 816 is the red, which is the majority of the pattern. And then there's a couple greens and I think a little bit of black. So I'm really going to enjoy stitching this one. I love the red. I think the red is really going to look nicely on this. And I think it's just going to be fun to add little bits and pieces. Now it does say 2023 on there. If I remember though, let me see. Lisa did provide... I don't know if I printed it off this time. Sometimes, I don't know, when you do digitals, do you print off every single page or do you do some and then figure you'll go back afterwards? That's generally what I do. I'm almost sure she provided numbers, but I don't look, it doesn't look like I printed it off. No, I didn't. I do that with full coverage all the time because I use paper, and so I will print off, you know, the first whatever I'm working on and then work from there. Save my printer a little bit. Alrighty, so that's that one. Speaking of full coverage, I have been working on this one surprisingly longer than I usually do with my full coverages, and I am done. About probably partway through this week, I pretty much had kind of said, okay, it was time for me to move on. But this is Hidden Harbor. And it is from, oh boy, there we go. It is sunny today, so we're getting a lot of reflections. This is charted by Heaven and Earth Designs, and it is artwork by Andy Russell. And it is 18 count white Aida that I'm stitching it on, and I'm doing 2 strands over 1 full cross. So let me do the full bit just to show you where I'm finishing for this rotation. I don't even know if I can, there we go. So that's what it looks like. At the moment, this is a big piece of fabric, as you can see. We have a lot to go yet. I had been back and forth in this area and was filling in that. And then this week, I really decided I wanted to go back to the left side and work on some of those colors again. And so what I did was, you can see I'm starting now, I have less confetti. I started to go through and work and get some of that confetti done, and extended all of these blues right here. So I still have a few here and there, little stray pieces of confetti colors, but I am slowly working my way into kind of finishing that off. And then I'm not sure where I'll go with this one. I love the colors of this one. And as I learn more and more about how I like to stitch full coverage, you know, I'll adapt what I'm stitching and how I'm stitching it to the pieces. Some of the ones that I started in the beginning are maybe not stitched in a way that I enjoy so much now, but that's okay. I'll work it out. Either that, or I will put the project to the side, which I think next year there is one full coverage that is going to be put to the side. Alrighty, this is going to be, I always say they're going to be short, but this week it is going to be short, because I don't know about you, but my queue of videos is growing every hour. So this is a two-part pattern. You can buy them separately, or you can buy them as a pair, which is what I did, which is why you see the two of them. I am stitching this one right here, the colorful one, first. I will eventually stitch that one as well, but I'm going to do them one at a time. This is, I believe this one is Twisted Rainbow Sampler. Twisted Rainbow Band Sampler. I think that's what it's called. Northern Expressions Needle Art. And they're on Etsy. You can also, I've seen several people stitch this with the specialty. I believe both of them. They can be bought with specialty stitches, so you have half X's, half specialty through the bands, or they can be just completely full crosses. And I bought the two pieces that are full crosses because, you know, I like my aida. I don't want to worry about the specialty stitches on aida, and this is just an enjoyment for me, so I chose to go that way. Now, if you remember, I had to restart this because I chose wrong the first time around for fabric, but I am enjoying the fabric this time around. I did go a little bit closer to the black that the model was stitched on, and this is 18 count Raven Black from To Dye For Fabrics. Now, I need to take a moment. Sad news when it comes to fabrics. Somebody had mentioned this in my Facebook group, and I went over to the Etsy site, and yes, To Dye For Fabrics has a note on their Etsy shop that they've closed their Etsy shop and they are not dyeing fabrics in 2024. I do not know what that means going forward beyond 2024, if they've completely stopped doing hand-dyed fabrics, which I am devastated about because I absolutely love, love, love her fabrics. And it is so sad that I won't be able to get them. If I would have ordered a whole bunch of colors if I had any idea and realized what was coming, that she was closing up shop. So when I mentioned To Dye For Fabrics, and I will put a note in my description box because she's one of my ones listed as favorite fabrics, I will put a note in there to say that currently, that in 2024 she is not. Her Etsy shop is closed and she's not dyeing fabrics. So I apologize in that sense because I have a lot of To Dye For Fabrics, to be honest with you, unused as well as in progress with projects. So it is the way it is, right? So there we go. That's where I am. And this time around, you know, I purposely did all the way across because after my first mistake, I wanted to make sure that I liked the colors on the fabric, and I think I'm really gonna like them. I think they're all gonna pop on this raven, and so that's why I came across. When I got here, I did this strand or this color, and then I did the next band with it's like a salmon color, and I have one more kind of band with that. I don't know. I know a lot of people traditionally, and I can totally see why with the specialty stitches, you do the bands straight across. I don't know if I will do that, or if I will, you know, if I feel like doing a different color, kind of throw in something else. I think, again, like many of the things, I don't stitch with hoops or Q-snaps or anything like that. I stitch in hand. So I, in essence, at any time with any of my projects can go stitch anywhere, which is sometimes leads me to lots of indecision, and sometimes I really like it because it gives me variety. So that's where it is at the moment. I do enjoy this piece, and so I could easily see picking it up, especially if I wanted to just go with one color. I can treat it as monochromatic on that stitching session and just do one color and not have to worry about changing. So that's a lot of fun. So you could see some bands showing up, who knows which way, depending on what my choices are. But I am really enjoying it, and I really would like to have both of them stitched. I think that would be a lot of fun. All right, next. Next is, you see this every third week at the very least, and this is Black Vintage Sampler, and it is from Owl Forest Embroidery. This was last year my January New Year New Start, so I can't believe it's been almost a year. Now, I don't really remember if it was the summertime or when it was exactly. I had Summer Quaker, Spring Quaker, and this one all started. And I decided that with having some of these big pieces, I needed to do a rotation. And so once every third week, I pull each of those out. And I'm going to have another big New Year, New Start this year. So that it might end up being once every fourth week, or maybe I throw in, like this one is getting closer. So this one may end up like every other week, plus just the other ones once every, whatever, because we are at the bottom. So this is the bottom. That exactly is the bottom row. So if I hold this all the way up for you, you can see I am 3 corners done. I have just that last corner to do. Now I do have border all the way here. I think what I'm going to do, I'm trying to work my way this way and then flip it over. I am kind of flipping it over and stitching. I'm going to start kind of here and work my way here. I'm really scared to start all the way down here at the bottom, flip and stitch it over, and not have it match. So what I think I'm doing is, you can see I started at the point where I started just doing this, because once that lines up, all of the extra pieces, because on this side you can see what the border looks like, all of that extra will fit in fine. There's a tiny bit of back stitching that'll get done at the very end. So if you were to look at this and you were to look how far down I've gone to here, if you discount the border, all of the inner workings are completely done. I've got it completely finished. So if I do this, because this is where I'm working on now, I worked on this section right here, and I'm going to fold it over a little bit. Isn't this fabric great? This is 18 count. It's called Rainy Day from Bestitchme. It is exactly what I was thinking about, what I kind of wanted with the fabric color. And this is, I'm using Anchor Black, not 310. I've said this before. I can't really tell you exactly. I just feel like it's a tiny bit thicker and just works for me better for anything where I'm doing lots and lots of black. If something calls for 310 and it's in a small section, I'll use a 310. So the big fish is completely done now. We had extra fish there, all that stuff around there. And then I came back up this way. What did I do? Oh, I think what my next thing, but then I ran out of time. I'm actually going to go from here and get the other part of the submarine done and work on that part and then go from there. So we'll see what happens with that. But I'm slowly working my way down. And I think next time too, I am going to do some more of the bottom border. My plan was to do the whole, up and down, kind of like I'm doing on the side, but I felt like doing that flower, so I threw that in. There's whole sections of different flowers on either side then of that, but that will come after. I'm trying not to leave all leave just border. I know there's going to be some. I know that that's the last thing that's going to get stitched, but I don't want it to be loads and loads of border, because then I'll feel, like it's a little bit more of a chore. I love stitching these little elements, and they are so much fun. All of these little things and pieces could be individual stitches if you wanted to stitch like a little, whether it was a stand-up or a tiny frame of something, or Some of them might be small enough for trading cards or, you know, all sorts of ornaments, you know, depending on what the pattern was or what you wanted it for. So it's a lot of fun because there's just so many pieces. And I think the Quakers by Leela Studio are the same way. There's so many little bits and pieces that you can pull out and do that it's just a lot of fun. All right, now I had gotten tired of Hidden Harbor, like I had said, so I pulled out another full coverage, and I will continue this one this week because it didn't get a ton of time, but it did get a little bit, and I want to show you. This one is called, I call it Beach Girl in a Red Dress. It's got one of those Etsy names, and it is from Simple Wave Studio is the Etsy shop, and the artwork is copyrighted by Jennifer Camp. So that's what it looks like. There we go. Oh, there you go. This is actually pretty beige, and the sun was getting into it today. We've got, the sun is shining just so today that I have to angle things. I'll be back in my other position soon. I don't know when the tree is going down, but this might be the last video in front of the Christmas tree, and then I'll be back with my flosses. So that's what it looks like. It's not a huge piece, which is nice. I'll show you the fabric. This is it. That's the size. Oops. So you can see it's not going to be super big, and it's actually, that's the width right there. So that's as wide as it goes. And I did nothing on this side, so I'm just going to fold that over for the moment. That is just a whole bunch of beige, and every once in a while another color is thrown in, but that's going to be really good. I'm going to try to do some sort of outline, and that's going to be really good. Just mindless stitching, zoom stitching, car stitching, whatever you name it. I think that would work out nicely. So I did fill in a little bit here. I am filling in some of the colors around the girl. I haven't pulled all of the flosses yet for her hair. So I decided that, because I would have filled in some more of this confetti here, but instead I filled in what I had and I started to work my way down here. So this is kind of like the horizon of the ocean, and then we'll work our way down, and we're getting close to sand, and then, you know, seagrass and sand and all of that. So this is like my other full coverage, 18 count white Aida, 2 strands over 1 full cross. So you will see this one again next week. I don't know if I will. I was thinking about kind of working my way down this way just to get my corners. There's not a lot predictable when I do my full coverage, but one thing, if you had to predict anything about me, I like getting my 3 corners, because obviously the 4th corner, I kind of work my way down this way. Maybe at one point with these smaller ones, I would do a 4 corner and then just work in the middle, but I definitely like to have my 3 corners. That also makes me feel better about my cutting of my fabric, because I always worry that even though I've probably counted 10 times and measured 10 times before I cut, I always have this worry that I didn't do enough. And I don't know about you, but like if I'm going across and I get to where the center marker is, I'll fold it across and see if I have enough fabric. It's kind of just so I'm sure I'm getting close to the halfway mark here. And I can guarantee you when I get to that where it says the arrow, I will do a quick fold and see if I am okay fabric-wise. I'm always second-guessing myself when it comes to that. Okay, next. This one, I just love stitching summer stuff. So, you know, we pull it out whenever I feel like it. This one is Summer at the Shore, and it is by Cottage Garden Samplings. And I just so enjoy this. I actually stitched this, I stitched it when I was stitching with a couple other people in person, which is why I did not, if I was by myself, I might have tackled some of the wing, but because I wasn't by myself, I really didn't want to mess up the counting. So that's what it looks like. This is 18 count Compelling Conchis from Those Missing Stitches. I have another piece of Compelling Conchis that is a little bit brighter blue, not brighter, lighter blue, and not as deep a blue. And I love them both. They're both an 18 count. And again, it just shows the wonderful variety of like hand dyed. But I thought this, I have 2 pieces, 2 summer pieces that are on this deeper blue, and I think they're gonna look really great. I finished all of the stars on the side, so that's all done right there. We've got some little feet because that was easy to stitch. I did some more of the lighthouse. Down here is going to be all water, and it's full coverage basically. But I think what it's got is got kind of a, it's not white. I want to say it's like 762. It's kind of that light gray. You can do all the outline of the waves, and then you can fill in the colors. So I think that's what I'll do. I should have finished this. I don't know why I didn't. There's just a little bit more of the waves there with that. And then I need to really be able to pay attention. This series, this Time for All Seasons by Cottage Garden, 2021, yeah. A lot of the different pieces, I know the turkey I'm doing as well, there's intricate patterns that looks beautiful. I mean, that's not intricate, but there's several different colors and color changes. So I found with the turkey too, I've got parts of it done, but depending on what's going on background wise or where my brain is, I don't do well with that part. So when I pull this out, one day I need to pull this out when I'm feeling like really sharp and want to just really kind of focus and count. And then maybe even just get kind of one of the colors outlined in there. And that way it'll go a little bit faster, or not faster, but then I can use it for lots of different things and not just when I'm laser focused. All right, we have a couple more to go. The next one is Autumn Quaker by Jardin Privé. It is the last of the 4, if you see the series here, that I am stitching. They can be stitched as whole or they can be stitched singly. And Jardin Privé had given a suggested color for each of the 4, but they said, right, you know, use colors of your own choice if you want. There, you know, you did not have to do them all that way. You could have done the whole thing monochromatically. Here they are. What happens is the patterns, some of the elements do kind of go from one to the next. So there's maybe a few stitches in between them, or empty holes, and then the next one starts. So it's kind of cool if you do it as a whole. I chose not to. I did each one singly, and I am on my last one. And this is stitched monochromatically with DMC 823. And as you can see, that's the bottom right there. So this is it. I might have a back stitch or two, like the top of the snail. Where's the snail? There's a little bit of a back stitch. This one doesn't have any butterflies. That might be the only back stitch. So that, I really could have done that, but I didn't. So this week I got all of this done. I messed up. I had to re-stitch this top part a little bit. I still have a few more of the X's in here, you know, finished up the bottom and then started to put in those little elements right there. I chose not to carry between each one. So what I'm doing is I'm stitching that and then I'm coming down and doing like a block of something. Did I finish? No, I didn't finish down there. I did all of this as well. So I have a tiny bit here. No, that is the bottom. See how this element just needs to come down a few more stitches and that will be the bottom. Underneath this, we have just a couple keys, but then we have a big house part right here. So that's going to take me a little time. We are, what are we? The 29th? Unless I do nothing but stitch on this, I don't think I could get this one done by the end of 2023. I was kind of hoping, but you know, c'est la vie, right? If I don't do it toward the end of this year, then in January, that one's a finish. No brainer, that one will be a finish. Alrighty, last piece. And I had not planned to stitch on this, which way? This is upside down. And I was looking through, I was flipping through my projects and I said, you know what? I want to stitch this one. So this is Serena Sprout by Autumn Lane Stitchery. And since I am now currently getting ready to film a whip parade, hopefully this weekend, I pulled out last year's notes. And this was one that I had marked as trying to get finished for this year. It won't. There's a lot of little bits. So I have up here especially, I have butterflies to do. I have some little kind of sprigs of kind of greenery. I didn't do any of the back stitching yet. I am going to look here and there. There's just some some stray stitches that I don't know how much they add to it. So again, like some of my other stitches, there might be little bits that I leave out, but not a lot. As you'll see in a moment, it's mostly done. But the butterflies, I do have a couple butterflies that I do need to focus on over on that end. I have one done out of the 3. So that's where it looks. This is 18 count Honeydew Melon from To Dye For Fabrics. I want to say the model might have stitched. Don't quote me on this 100%. But for some reason in my brain, I think it was Friendship Green. Now, it was a higher count than what I stitch on, probably over 2. So the green looks a little bit different than my Friendship Green. But for some reason, I want to say that's what they used. But I thought this Honeydew Melon was nice and showed off the colors really well. And what I focused on is I've got the cauldron. There's one line of stitches yet that I have to do. You can see there's just a little opening between the plants and the top there. I want to say it's greenery and plant that I didn't do. But there was a lot of fill in here to do. There's several different colors in those flowers. I love the pinks though. And then there's some greenery and everything else. So this probably got about 300 stitches this week. But my goal was to get this part done. So I have a little bit here. I know you can see here there's a flower that needs to be finished. Then I'll come back up with the butterflies and then start looking at what little bits I'm going to add in, the little greenery, and I'll finish with the back stitch, I think. Again, it's not a ton. If there was full back stitch, I definitely would have tried to stitch it as I went, but there's not. You know, the butterflies have some back stitch. There's some with some of the stems and leaves of greenery, but for the most part, I think it would be one sit down session for me when I get to that part. So no, this will not make it to be a 2023 finish next year. What I'm also thinking of doing, and I've already started writing out my notes. I love notes. You know, I think you know that by now about me. I always have to have my notes. I'm just gonna have a sip of my green tea. All this talking. I am going to think about goals for each of my projects. I'm not even telling you how many there are. You're going to have to wait. By far my most out of any end of the year parade. By far. But that's okay. I have good plans. As I was starting to write the notes, I was thinking about what kind of goals I want. Now, of course, in theory, there's a lot that could be finished. It's just a matter of, you know, how many ones I get to do. But I'm super excited to add that to my parade as well. And just to kind of give me just some goal and ideas as I head into 2024. Because obviously we have the new starts. I want to do my 55 full finishes. And so then I got to figure out where I'm going to do with my regular projects too. So it's exciting. All right. And that leads me into plans. Since I've already finished all of my stitching, I am planning on this weekend, hopefully filming a whip parade. We'll see. We'll see how the timing goes. I generally have, this was good practice for me because I went through all my projects and I didn't use way too much time because, you know, sometimes it takes me almost an hour just to talk about my projects because I have so many to talk about. I'm going to have to keep myself on task. So this isn't a 3-hour parade. I kind of tap out at 2 hours. I just, at that point, and generally I have to watch those in bits and pieces too. I just don't have that time for the full sit down of those. So I'm going to do my very best to not be overly wordy, but I'm not promising anything. So that is something I want to do. I spent a good hour and a half this morning with my notes and trying to put everything in order and all of that. So now I've got to take these projects that I just showed you, start putting them in where the order is, and I'll be showing you from oldest to newest. And I have 3 projects that I will be not going forward with. So those will be at the very end of the video. Beyond that, this weekend is New Year's Eve weekend. Can you believe it? I can't believe Christmas is already almost a week ago. This week flew by, really flew by. And I can't even say I accomplished a lot. That's the sad part of it all. I know so many of you are doing the 12 by 12, which is so cool. Really cool idea, whether they're 12 starts or 12 whips or half and half or however you're doing it. For me, I can't sit that long and stitch. I need breaks. I think the most I've really can do is like a 3-hour stretch after that. And that's even that's a lot for me. What I'm going to do instead of doing that, and I'm not going to start anything on New Year's Eve because I have my New Year, New Start on January 1st. So I don't feel the need to, and it's not like I don't have lots of things to choose from. I'm going to do my own version of Whip Frenzy. If you've watched me long enough, you know that I'm a member of Whip Warriors, and 4 times a year they do something called Whip Frenzy, which coincides with the 24-hour cross-stitch weekend. It is my favorite event by far because I get a chance to touch so many things in a short period of time, and I really like that. I am one that likes to change and choose different projects and just keep rotating and getting some more work on each and every one of them. So the idea is, now I know 12 by 12 is basically noon to midnight on Sunday. This might be part of a whole weekend for me. Normally Whip Frenzy is like a Friday, Saturday, Sunday. I'm probably gonna look at it. I don't know if I'll do Saturday, Sunday, Monday. I think I might just do Sunday and, well, no, because Monday I want my new start. So maybe I'll do it Saturday, Sunday and just have like a 2-day Whip Frenzy and see how many projects I can put 1 to 200 stitches in. And we'll see. There might not be much stitching on Saturday if I have to film a parade. As I'm talking, this may end up just being Sunday, to be honest with you, after all is said and done, which is kind of funny. I'm just talking myself into, you know what? We're just going to do a 1-day Whip Frenzy. So it's just going to be Sunday. That's it. I've made it. I've changed my plans. That's what we're going to do going forward. So during the course of Sunday, I will see how many pieces I can stitch. Whether it's 1 to 200, it kind of depends if I'm in a groove, if I'm in a section that I want to finish. Sometimes I get something done and I'm just at 100, so then I switch. Normally I would do before and afters because I have to show that on Whip Warriors, but I won't worry about that, which is great because I always forget to take before pictures. I don't know how many times for categories I've got something that I picked and I just start stitching it because I'm just excited to stitch it, and then I'll say, gosh darn, I forgot to take my picture. So then I have to stop, take a picture, and start from there. So I always lose out on credit on my stitching, but you know, it is the way it is. So that is my plan for Sunday, and Saturday will be filming, and Monday I am starting Fish and Chips, which I'm super excited about. And you would have seen all my other, I don't know if there'll be any other January starts that day, or I'll just spread them out over the month. Okay, so those are my plans, convoluted and as changeable as they are. I have a little bit of happy mail, so I'm super excited to show you. I got 2 Christmas cards, and they are beautiful. I absolutely love them. Thank you so much. This one is from Deb. They're both handmade, and I love red and teal. It is a fabulous color combination. It is great for Christmas time if you're ever thinking about it and you want to do something, you know, like maybe an ornament, you know, maybe mostly teal based with a pop of red would be so pretty. Really, really love it. And I think I actually have the snowflake embossing folder. It is such a great one to use. But isn't that pretty? It's gorgeous. So that's going up on the shelf right there. I'm keeping my Christmas cards up for a while because there's nothing else on this shelf. So why not enjoy them? And then this one came from my friend Mary, and you all know Mary as Mary's Stitching Corner on Flosstube. I'm going to link Mary below. And Mary also has an Etsy shop, and I can't remember what it's called. I'm not sure if does it say here? Yes, it does. JasmineBlossomCrafts.etsy.com. I don't know if that will show up, but I'm going to show you right there. Mary does beautiful work. I have been the recipient of several of her cards, and I absolutely love this. I can't tell you how much work went into this. This is all die cuts. And when you look at something cute like these, the row of lights, first you have to die cut the base part of it, which, you know, she did in one color. And then each color light, she has to re-die cut every single color. And then those all get little single, those get glued on singly. I mean, even the snowman is, you don't die cut it like that. Each piece is a separate die cut and a layer, and this is gorgeous. I love this so much, and this I could see having it out all year round. It is the cutest. So thank you, Mary. I absolutely adore it. And I am so grateful for all the work you put into this card, because this is so much work. It is so pretty. All right, so that was my Happy Mail. I did get one little stitchy thing. So I think you know by now, I've talked about this. Mo and I didn't exchange gifts. I pretty much kind of bought what I wanted. I got a bunch of things before even Christmas week came, so you've seen a lot. I have a gift certificate or two that I need to use up, so I'll do some shopping after Christmas now. There's a few digital patterns I have my eyes on that I think are on sale still. Probably should try to do that before the new year, because then they might go off sale. So there'll be things here and there. But Megan and Connor did get one little, I want to undo this, little stitchy thing for me. They had gotten something else that had to do with reading, because I like to read too. But isn't this cute? It's a cute little bag, so you can see there. And on both sides it says just one more stitch, which I have said numerous times to everybody before. Just one more stitch and then I'll be ready, or just a few more stitches is usually what I say. So this is so cute. I love it. I'm not sure what I'm going to put into it yet, but I am looking forward to using it. And jumping there, I kind of already alluded to it. I have no shopping this week. Nothing. Like I said, there's a couple digital patterns that I thought about buying, and I just never actually hit buy. They're in my wish list still. And then I have to just do some shopping with gift certificates. So there'll be, I think I do have my fabric of the month from Bestitchme on its way. I think I got a notice that said it had shipped. So that should be here. Well, I don't know. With us having another holiday this weekend, and the post office is probably still a little busy. We'll see if it gets here by Friday. If not, it'd be the Friday after. And then, yeah, that's about all I know. I do have an outstanding order from Bestitchme. I have no idea when that's coming in. So we will see. It'll be a surprise for all of us. All right. So that is the shopping and the Happy Mail and all of that other stuff. So let's talk giveaways. I'm determined to have a video that's 1 hour long one of these days. This was this week's giveaway, and it is called Right After Delivery by Twin Peak Primitives, I should say. Super cute. I talked about how it could be cute as a whole, cute as parts, and I asked you to say the word dance, so let me mix around the names. And pull a name out. There we go. Who do we have? I am gonna, well, you know what? I'll put it against the back of my iPad, because I feel like against the pattern is all white, and this is a white piece of paper. Susan Thomas, congratulations. You won this pattern. So if you could get back to me and give me your address, then I will send that on to you. All right, this week, that was a big pattern. This is a teeny tiny pattern. When I was going through my patterns for the what am I going to start and stitch next year video, the Flosstube number 4, I went through all my patterns. And this one I had originally bought. I bought this at Salty Yarns, which still has, I'm afraid to take, I think I'll just leave the sale tag on it, because I'm afraid to take that off and rip the front cover for you. I had bought it not knowing if I would stitch it or if I would eventually give it on to one of you. And I decided in the end that it's super cute, but I'd like to share it with somebody else. So I am going to pass this as a giveaway. So this is a new pattern, I think. Oh no, it is not a new pattern. It is new to me. This is actually 2015. So you know what? It is long new. It's old, but super new to me. It is JBW Designs French Country Snowman. And isn't that adorable? So that's super cute. Now it says in the meadow, we can build a snowman. So if you would like me to put your name in the blue bowl as the potential to win this pattern, say the word meadow, M-E-A-D-O-W. And it's super cute. The snowman is just made up of all those different little elements. What does it say here? It's 82 by 107. So it's, you know, bigger than you'd think potentially. And what did they use? Classic Colorworks and Weeks Dye Works, I guess. Or maybe they gave it as an option, because I feel like there's only one symbol. Oh no. Yeah, it looks like one symbol. So I don't know if they gave you a couple different options if you wanted to do two, you know, kind of different color schemes. I don't know. You can decide what to do. Yes, because if you see down here, it's a little teeny tiny one and it looks like a different color scheme. So meadow, if you'd like me to put your name in for that. French Country Snowman. Alrighty, so that is next week's giveaway. And that's it. That's all the stitching stuff. Look at this, I did it. If you are only here for stitching, thank you so much for being here. And I hope you have a safe and fun New Year's as we head into that weekend. And I will see you next time. Happy stitching. All right, so life stuff, I will keep it fairly brief because we were pretty quiet. We had Christmas. I saw you last Friday, and it was super, super quiet. Christmas Eve, Christmas Day. It was just Mo, myself, and Connor. Megan was in North Carolina, and we did a lot of FaceTiming on Christmas Day. That was our that was our big part of the day because we had several people to FaceTime. And you know how when you start to talking, in some cases, if you haven't talked to somebody in a while, ooh, you hear Mo's coffee is beeping away there. Then a conversation takes longer than you thought it would, right? And you know, so good amount of FaceTiming. Thank goodness for FaceTime now. It's kind of neat because if you can't be with somebody, at least you can kind of talk to them and see them, which is really kind of cool. So that was our day. This week has been pretty quiet. You know, I did that extra video, so I was doing some filming there. I didn't get, you know, I got a good amount of stitching, but not like crazy amounts. If I look at my numbers for the week, I bet you it's going to be down a little bit, which is fine. Yesterday was kind of a yucky, dreary, awful day, and today is looking beautiful. It's sunny, and I think we're supposed to get up to 51, and then I think it all comes crashing down. I think it gets cold next week, so I guess I can't get used to it. Maybe I'll do a little bit of beach stitching today. Take the car down to the beach and do a little stitching. Maybe I can finish Autumn Quaker. I'd have to be at the beach for an awful long time to get all that stitching done. And then New Year's is going to be quiet. I would like to jump on a Zoom, probably New Year's Eve. We'll see. I don't know what we're doing. We may do like an early dinner, so I might, you know, kind of be coming and going here or there. But it'd be nice to get some stitching and talking to people in a little bit. I never make it up to midnight, ever. So I'm lucky if I make it to 11, to be quite honest with you. I am usually asleep by then on New Year's. But, you know, who knows? There's always a first. It's been a long time since I've seen the clock tick from one year to the next. And that's about it, really. It's going to be quiet. So I am going to wrap this up so that you can go watch all of the fabulous content. I have started watching some of the parades. I've started watching the plans. I would like to do a, you know, video with my couple planners, but the only person that's put anything out for 2024 yet is Magazine Monthly Challenge. So I've got, and I have to finish writing the stuff for Bringo, because I plan on doing Bringo in there. But until I get some more stuff, I don't really want to show you one of the planners for challenges and stitch-alongs if I don't have the info. So hopefully that stuff will get out soon, and that'll probably maybe a couple weeks into the year once I have it settled. And I already can tell that this is not going to be potentially my set in stone for years to come kind of thing. I think it's going to be each year a little trial and error. My calendar, and this one is my 2023 planner. This I do like, and this will be, next year will be my 3rd year I use this from Commit 30. But and I'll show you that, because that has one part of stitching plans, and then right now this is the one that's going to hold my challenges and stitch alongs and anything else that kind of comes up that's games or whatever related. So hopefully that will be something that comes, but look more towards maybe middle of January as an extra, once I have everything kind of figured out and I kind of play around, and I'm sure I'll make mistakes, but you know, that's how we learn, right? I'm already thinking that I want a book. This did say 100 grams or whatever it is, but I feel like I want one that might be a little bit thicker for the challenges. This book is also says it's the same, but for some reason the pens don't seem to go through it as much as it does on this one. So, you know, live and you learn. It'll be fine. I'm not worried about it, but those are the things I'll learn and kind of reevaluate at the end of next year. Here I am already talking about evaluating at the end of 2024, and we haven't gotten there yet. So a couple of things were, you know, in the works, and then, you know, just lots of finishing. So we'll see. Maybe on January 1st, along with the New Year, New Start, I will jump off my 55 for 55 right away at the New Year. We'll have to see. You'll have to come back next week and see. All right, that's it. I'm off. I'm letting you go. I hope you have, like I said before, a safe, healthy, fun, whatever fun is for you, whether that's going to bed at 10 o'clock, I'm all for it. New Year's, maybe get some stitching in, hopefully, or, you know, maybe you're having some family time or friend time or whatever it happens to be. But I hope it goes all well, and I'm wishing us all a wonderful 2024. So hopefully we can just kind of jump into the new year and have it be a great one. Okay. So until next time, happy stitching.